All right, Code 3 community, welcome back. Think we got a great video for you today. Put together some charts to illustrate a couple things. Um, eh, Really, what we're going for here is to show what dollars are. Now, we're going to go into that a little deeper in a different video, but most people just think of everything in dollars, especially in the United States. In other countries where they're forced to transact in dollars and their own currency, they have to, or folks in those locations really need to understand multiple currencies and see the value through things other than just dollars. But in the United States, since we're the globally traded currency, we're the reserve currency, we're kind of allowed to um, see the world through only dollars. So we're going to show you some things here about what is your house worth in things like oil or gold or cattle or orange juice, things like that. So we can see value outside of dollars, and you can see a direct representation of what happens to the value or what happens to dollars. And so let me share my screen here, and we'll get right at it. So first, going to show you on this screen, you'll see this is just a 3,000 square foot house. Okay, so I know this house, and I'll say that the values are estimated. They're known, as you'll see here, July or June 1st of 91, uh, 21 June of 2022. That's kind of an estimate, but just wanted to show um, how most people only see things in dollars. And what really got me thinking about this is talking to somebody, and they were talking about gold. They were talking about, I wonder if I should buy gold because it has room to go up and then they could sell it. That's not the point of gold. And we'll do that. We'll do a deeper dive on that later, maybe even bring on a guest. But gold is just a store of value. So here, to show you how we can see outside of just dollars, the thing in the real economy, as you'll see right here, is a 3,000 square foot house. So unless you do something different to that house to make it bigger, you put an addition on or something like this, it serves the same economic purpose. It sleeps the same number of people. It has the same number of bathrooms. The kitchen is the same. It can cook however many meals at a time. It can seat however many people in the dining room at a time. The house serves the same utilitarian purpose. So that hasn't changed. So in 1991, for this particular example, it took 77,000 US dollars to acquire that real thing in the real economy, the real thing being the house. And at that time, gold was $363 an ounce. So if you look at how many ounces of gold would it have taken at that time to convert to dollars to pay the builder or whoever to buy that house, it would have taken 212 ounces of gold. Well, go to June of 2022, the estimated value on that house, I would estimate it to be about 320,000 US dollars. Well, how much gold, if you had gold, if you just had physical gold, we're not talking paper gold or gold miners or any of that, any stocks in gold, we're talking physical metal. If you had that, how many ounces would it take? Well, gold at that in February of 2022 was $1,899 and change. So it'd take 168 ounces of gold to get the same house. Now, the house serves the same purpose. So, what is a better store of value? You'll see here it took 20.5% less physical gold to convert into dollars and buy that house. But cash, it took 315.5% more cash. So huge difference. So everybody, this is kind of the point of the video, and gold illustrates it so well. Why would you ever buy gold to sell it to go back to cash unless you were going to just convert to cash to transact to buy some real asset or something in the real economy? It wouldn't make any sense to go from gold to cash just for the purpose of holding cash, because the gold is a hedge. It's a better store of value than the cash. And if you'll look here, 315% more cash to get the same house, 168 ounces of gold says 20% less gold. So let's go into a couple other things. If so, we'll talk to people. I'm going to show you two other examples of this. So this is 91 to 2022, but some people, when we visit with them about building houses, a lot of that we have background in designing and building homes. They'll feel wealthier. This is called a wealth effect. So they say, "Oh, I bought my house for $77,000." I'm sure you've talked to friends that I'm sure you've talked to friends that have said they've bought a house, for say $77,000 and it's worth $320,000. So they feel richer by about what, $248,000 or something. So, or I guess it'd be 243 or thereabouts. But anyway, they feel like they're richer. Well, if you were to convert that money, if you were to sell that house and now you have cash, you would say, okay, compared to what? Well, I could buy 20% less gold. You could see here with crude oil. If you look at crude oil back in 1991, if you had crude oil and you converted to cash, you would have needed 3,644 barrels. Well, in June of 2022, you would need 3,447 barrels. So you'd need just a little bit less, 5% less barrels of oil to be able to convert to cash and acquire that house. So if you sell out of the house and you take your cash, you can see your purchasing power if you were to go buy oil, or the things derived from oil, that it would be relatively the same. You're really not richer. It's just the price of the oil went up in dollars, but the utilitarian purpose did not change. So if you go to orange juice, when I did this, actually kind of shocked me. I just picked it, but orange juice was actually pretty volatile. And I'll blow that back up so you can see it, or I guess add it to there. But orange juice was actually a little more volatile, but you'll see it went up. It would take 274% more orange juice to get that same house this many years later. But notice it took 315% more cash. So orange juice was still a better store of value than the cash. And if you go to coffee, it takes only 46% more coffee in what is that, 20, 30 years, 31 years. It took 46% more coffee to get that house today, but 315% more cash. So if you take the cash out, you're really not richer when you convert it into things in the real economy. And then you get over here into cattle. If you just look at the cattle futures, it take about 115% um, more cattle to get that house if you convert it to dollars to transact to the house, but it took 315% more dollars. So again, you'd be better off with the cattle. My point is the dollars become worth less and less and less over time, exponentially so. And I want to show you a couple things to kind of show you what some of the concerns with housing price now. So let me just show you a quick example. I won't go through it in detail to save the time here, but this is another house, 3,480 square feet. We built this house, so I know exactly what the numbers are. And if you look at it on 30th of November 2009, it took $403,000 to transact to get that house. Now, again, that house hasn't changed. And here it is, February, or I guess, yeah, February 2022. The house hasn't changed, but it takes um, 550,000 US dollars to get the same house. House serves the same purpose. So it takes 36.4% more dollars. But look over here at the gold again. Again, gold is just a store of value. You don't go from cash to gold back to cash just to have more cash, unless you just need the cash to transact in something because everybody takes cash. But the gold is a store of value. So if you look at it here, 15% less gold from 2009 to 2022 to get that house, but 36% more dollars. So dollars are not wealth, they're a unit of measure. It's just like ounces of gold, unit of measure, barrels of oil, unit of measure, pounds of orange juice, pounds of coffee, pounds of beef, all units of measure. Dollars are just a unit of measure, not really wealth. And we're going to do another video on that. I know that sounds weird, but we'll go a little deeper on that. We'll do something specific on just that, and it'll make a ton of sense how currency has evolved over time. But if you look at, again here, oil. Now this one, it takes more oil than cash. Well, if you look at the time, oil at that time, 2009, $77 a barrel. Now $90 a barrel. Okay. So the oil costs more in dollars. Now it takes 16% more oil, but it takes 36% more cash. So the oil still is more valuable than the cash is. So in other words, we're just saying it takes a larger volume of $1 bills to get the same house in the real economy. Also takes more oil, but it takes less than the cash. And you can kind of see this across here. You'll notice over here, coffee would actually take 21% less coffee to get that house today than it did back then. but yet 36% more cash. So the coffee held its value better than the cash did, 19% less cattle than it did back then. So let me show you one more here. And this one has to do with kind of median incomes in median homes. So the median home, if you look in 2009, the fourth quarter of 2009, according to Fred, it is $219,000 for um, a median home. Well, in 2020 fourth quarter, median value of a home $358,700. So again, you didn't get richer. It took 63% more dollars. But look here, this number is actually calculated off those first two lines. 15% more gold to get that house, but 63% more paper dollars. So the gold was a better store of value. Then I just wanted to show this right here because it's going to kind of expand, and you guys can look across here at these other things on your own here. But in 2021 fourth quarter, um, median price of a home in dollars, $408,000. So this is the illness disruption, the all the central planners that started pulling on the levers. You can just see this thing goes nuts. So it's up 86% from 2009 in the amount of dollars. So what that means is the dollars, the paper dollars floating around in your wallet have become worth less. They have less purchasing power, and the gold has maintained its purchasing power better. So has the coffee, so has the cattle, and so forth. Now the oil didn't, but you got to remember in 2009 oil was high, and then where this number is in November of 2021, obviously oil's still recovering, but oil was kind of on a high back then. But my point is the dollars become worth less, but this is the key right here. And this is why it gets harder and harder to put together new build deals. So if you look at um if you look at here where it lists in the median household income, according to Fred, both these are median household income, not individual income, was $60,200 in the United States. Median household income now, 67,521. And actually, I should say that's in 2020. So that's really not accurate to 2021, but you can kind of see the representation here to 2020, which is why the text is red. And I guess if I blow that back up, you'll be able to see that. So we called this out in red because we're going to 2020, not 2021. I couldn't get the data from 2021 from the same source, and I wanted the sources to be the same so that it was calculated the same. But if you look at 2009, 60,200 median income, 2020, 67,500, that's a 12.16% increase in median income. However, look at the difference in the price of the home in dollars. So this is median income calculated in dollars. This is the price of median homes calculated in dollars, 63% higher than the wages went up. This is why savers and workers are getting destroyed and why there's such a home affordability crisis in this country. So I want to show you something on that real quick. So you'd wonder how in the world if if the um, incomes only went up 12% over that period of time, how could the homes go up 63% and anybody still be able to buy them? Well, let me show you exactly how that happened and how it ties into current events. If you look here, 30-year fixed rate mortgage averages in the United States, which way do they go? Down, left to right, steady down. Yeah, there's ups and downs, there's little blips. Looks like a heart rate monitor, but they go straight, well, not straight down, but they go down steadily. It's a very clear pattern. And we just did a video here a little while ago. If you watched it, great video to complement this, and it shows the bond rates over these times. It looks just like this. But if you look down here, interest rates have been consistently down. So we were measuring 2009 to 2020 in about this area. We're about 6%. Get down here to 2020, we're half that, 3%. Oh, so that's the thing. If you think about it, most people are just seeing nominally 3% change. What we look at is that's 100% change in interest. So 3% to 6% is double. So let's just use something easy math. Let's say this represented $500 a month in interest payments, and I have no idea if that would make sense for this example, but $500 a month in interest payments. If we cut the interest rate in half, now it's only 250. That's how homes became or remained, I guess, somewhat affordable over that period of time. It was because these interest rates went down. And that's how this is median sale price of homes, according to Fred in the United States. That's how they were able to go up exponentially over that time when wages weren't pacing them. It's because the debt got cheaper. So that brings us into a question. If they want to raise rates now and home prices are up in dollars, what does that do? Those are things we need to be paying attention to, but that's a whole nother discussion. But you just got to understand all these things affect one another. And people come to us all the time and they talk about their value of their house, how it went up so much in price. So they just want to build a house. All they did was exchange the house. So you got to look at the dollars aren't the value. The house is the value. That's where the wealth is. The house is the wealth. The oil is the wealth. The gold is the wealth, not the US dollars. US dollars are not wealth. They're just a unit of measure. So if somebody came in, as my good buddy Russ Gray would say, and they said, "Hey, I'll give you 100 gallons for your car." That's a nice car in the driveway. You'd say, "Well, 100 gallons of what?" Exactly. If it's 100 gallons of pure liquid gold that's solidified in there, I'd probably think about that, right? If it's 100 gallons of water, I wouldn't. Dollars are a unit of measure, not wealth. Wealth is your ability to transact and acquire goods and services in the real economy, not dollars. We'll do some more deep dives on that. Hope you guys found that to be beneficial. We'll try to put together some more things like this for your benefit. But again, we got to shift the thinking so that we can kind of navigate these widening gaps in the wealth divide. This is why there's such a wealth divide. Is most people are working and they're trying to save. Well, if you tried to save to buy a home, just for example, and the price of that home in dollars went up 86%, how long would you have to save when your wages are only going up 12% over the same period? Or I guess for apples to apples, I guess it'd be 64% in dollars, the home price goes up, but the wages go up 12%. You would have to have some pretty phenomenal investments to make that work. The only reason it's worked over the last 30 years or so is debt has got cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. And now that we're at the bottom and they're wanting to go back up, I guess we'll see. Anyway, hope you guys found that beneficial. We'll see you on the next video. If you like this, make sure you like the video on the bottom, please. Click like down below. Make sure you share it with a friend. We're cranking out this content to try to help everybody navigate these times and build wealth and preserve freedom. And you've seen maybe some of our other videos on how those things tie together. So hopefully you liked it. We'll see you next time. As we say in the tactical world, it's time to go out and execute when we get ready to go. Team's up. Let's go do something.